Are Pitbulls vicious dogs or love puppies? Two Durango middle school girls want you to believe they're the latter. Why should you vaccinate your kids against life-threatening diseases? And longtime Durango resident Ted Holteen brings you a brand new arts and entertainment feature in this edition of Inside Durango News.
You're watching Inside Durango News, Durango's only televised news magazine covering local news and features, business updates, sports, arts, and entertainment, and up-to-date minute weather forecasts for the greater Durango area. Featuring news anchor Ashley Dickson, Moni Grushkin on business, and Jordan Alexander with sports. Brought to you by Fast Signs. More than fast, more than signs. Fast Signs.
I'm Ashley Dickson and you're watching Inside Durango News. Inside Durango News enters a new era this week with the debut of its first ever hour-long weekly news show. We're combining our sports and business shows with our regular news show to bring you better coverage in one program. We've also added an outdoor activities and weather update with tips on how to handle Colorado's fickle climate. And we've added a new arts and entertainment feature with Ted Holteen. Ted brings nearly 15 years of experience covering arts and entertainment in the Durango area, and we're sure you'll enjoy his unique take on the Durango arts scene. Now, our top news story. Plata County taxpayers will have some tough choices to make during the next few years. Either increase taxes or cut county services so drastically the local economy could suffer. At least that's the story that the numbers in La Plata County budget seem to be telling. During a recent public presentation on the county's financial outlook for 2015, La Plata County Manager Joe Kirby and Finance Director Diane Sorensen said the county may not be able to sustain current levels of service to county residents without increasing revenues. During the past 5 years, county property tax revenues have dropped by nearly 50%. In addition, the combined total of property tax and sales tax revenues is at the lowest level since before 2005. In 2014, the county will receive $60 million in revenues, but will spend more than $70 million by the end of the year. That means the county will have to draw $10 million from its fund balance to cover the extra cost. The fund balance is like a savings account. Ideally, public organizations like county government save 25 to 30% of their budget total to cover operating costs for the first 3 months of the year. After that 3-month period, property tax revenues start coming in. And when they do, the agency replaces the money it drew off the fund balance. But the La Plata County Road and Bridge Department has been dipping into its fund balance for the past 5 years to make up for the loss in property tax revenue. And it can't continue to do so, says County Finance Director Diane Sorensen.
Was that we have lost almost 50% of our property tax revenues since 2010. And that oil and gas is our largest portion of that property tax revenue. So we went from about 30 million in property tax revenue in 2010 to about 15 million in 2014.
The county's Long-Term Finance Committee, a group of citizens appointed by the county commissioners, have been working to develop a 10-year strategic budget plan. The plan will propose a variety of alternatives to increase revenues and decrease costs, somewhat like an environmental financial assessment. The county currently is assessing user fees for services like planning applications. They've remained the same for several years now and in many cases don't cover the cost of the service. The committee also will analyze a proposal to charge a use tax for goods and services that county residents purchase outside the county. A resident who purchases a car in New Mexico would have to pay sales tax in La Plata County. That's currently not the case. County voters would have to approve a use tax.
The point of the truth is with our oil and gas activities and the property tax revenues we receive from them, that allowed the county to maintain one of the lowest mill levies in the state. And yet, pretty high level of service. So if we lose that source of revenue, there's a balancing act. We have to either reduce the level of services or find other sources of revenues. So currently, they're tasked with quite a challenge.
Sorensen said the county can cut employees and cut back on some basic services, but some cuts could actually damage the economy.
Our largest concern right now is road and bridge. It is what we refer to internally as being on life support. And our roads are truly the foundation of any economy. You know, without them, people can't go to the stores and the stores can't get their product and we can't even go to work. So the roads and they're a high price tag. That's the unfortunate part. Roads are, even gravel roads. You know, the gravel and the grading and the mag chloride, and the county has, it's not quite 50-50, but it's somewhere. We have about as many gravel roads as we do paved roads.
The county does have some positive news in the forecast. Sales taxes have increased by 7% this year, and property taxes are expected to generate $1.4 million increase for 2015. Neither increase is enough to offset the loss in oil and gas revenues, Sorensen added, but it may delay the inevitable for at least another year. For more information about the county's 2015 budget, visit the county website at co.laplata.co.us. While the county reports an increase in sales taxes, the Durango Area Tourism Office recently reported that lodgers' tax revenues are nearly 15% higher than the same period as last year. Dado had some other good news this week as well. We turn now to business anchor Moni Grushkin with our top business story.
Thanks, Ashley. Dado recently announced that it has appointed Bob Kunkel as the new executive director of the tourism organization. Kunkel had been serving as the interim director following the departure of Patty O'Brien last winter. Dado markets La Plata County to a variety of markets to keep the area in the forefront of a family's vacation decisions. A lodger's tax levied on hotels and motels in the area generates revenues for Dado's operation and marketing budget. Kunkel has been involved in the tourism industry in Colorado since 1971 in many capacities. Speaking with Inside Durango News, Kunkel analyzed the current state of the industry and explains how growth occurs.
Budget and resources, and that comes from the lodger's tax, which has steadily grown. So that's sort of determined by how much money and resource we have to spend. So one of the things you want to do is spend it as smartly as you can. And now is a good time to sort of take stock of our markets and make sure that we're not an inch deep and a mile wide, but we're getting done what we need to get done.
Many factors are in Durango's favor: the price of gas, the general economy, and our weather. He added that one of the big determinants is the growth of the airport, with direct flights from new destinations under consideration. He plans to communicate more frequently and directly with all the businesses that serve the tourism industry, such as restaurants, campgrounds, and attractions like rafting, mountain biking, and skiing. He wants to ensure that they know about the opportunities that Dado can provide them to develop more business for tourists. Kunkel said that what makes his job fairly easy is that Durango offers something for everyone.
These areas are just growing. People are coming to Colorado to see our distilleries and our wineries and our breweries. So this is more product coming online, more content, and what we've got to sell just outmatches almost anybody for diversity on a year-round basis.
For more information on what Dado has to offer, visit durango.org. Up next, our new weather and outdoor activities outlook.
I'm Scotty Smith, and it's monsoon season in Durango. That means wildflowers are blooming in the high country. Later in the broadcast, we'll tell you where you can find them in the San Juans. But first, your weather forecast for the week. Inside Durango's top news stories have been brought to you by the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad. It's America's train.
Everyone's on a budget, and we have several programs that are available that will meet those needs so that it does fit within your budget.
We're family here. They like the way they're treated. They like the way we present the numbers. There is nothing under question. They know exactly what they're getting. The quality of the Honda is number one. You want to get into a car that you know you can depend on for years and years, and it's not going to break down. It's going to be what it's presented to be.
This is the story of a company that has its roots in Southwest Colorado. A story about two college friends who founded a local business, of their families and the families of their staff, and of generations to come. It's about the concerns we hold, the passions we share, and the bonds that unite us. We are the Wells Crew. And for 3 decades, we've been proud to be a part of the Southwest Colorado community.
Candace Jeep has a busy schedule. She runs an audiology practice in Durango. It's not easy running your own business. That's why she chooses to bank at Alpine Bank. Being able to make business deposits without stepping out of the office saves time. And she loves how the Alpine Bank mobile app makes it easy to keep track of personal finances from anywhere, giving Candace the freedom to focus on what really matters. Alpine Bank in downtown Durango and Three Springs.
This portion of local news has been brought to you by Alpine Bank. Locally owned, locally operated. Alpine Bank.
I'm Ashley Dickson. A gardening program at the old Fort Lewis campus in Hesperus hopes to raise a new generation of farmers 1 acre at a time. The Fort Lewis College Environmental Studies program, along with a new incubator program sponsored by the Colorado Department of Agriculture, recently held an open house at the old Fort campus to showcase the works of a beginning farmer who hopes to make a living out of farming one day. The incubator program began as an idea in 2009 when a college task force was trying to determine what to do with the old Fort campus. By 2013, 9 would-be farmers were selected to plant 2 1/4 acres. The Old Fort Market Garden Cooperative was formed, and 7 beginning farmers completed their season.
It's a combination. What we did is we set aside 6.5 acres and put it behind a high fence. And we offer a program where they apply in October, and then once they're selected, beginning in January, they will go through an education program. So I think that's really key to why they've been so successful. Last year, we produced over 30,000 pounds of product, came out of the incubator project, and that was only with about 2 1/4 acre under production.
Farmers sell their products at a farm stand open from 1 to 4 p.m. on Thursdays at the Fort Lewis College Student Union building. They also sell to customers at the Durango Farmers Market, to local schools and other markets. LaSalle says she's seeing a growing interest in small-scale farming, especially among young adults in their 20s and 30s. Audrey Preston and Emily Blade of Durango said they wanted to find a way to make a living growing organic flowers.
We invite the brides and families to come out and pick their own flowers for their weddings, and a lot of people are on a lower budget. I mean, I got married that way and we did our own flowers, so we understand that not everyone has the resources to spend the money on that, and you still want to see people have the flowers, you know, or the photographer, or whatever it is that they're looking for. So we can offer pick your own, and we kind of give them an idea of how to make the arrangements. We come up with the numbers, they come out and do it, and we also do the farmers market, and we sell a little bit wholesale, and we're doing some weekly delivery bouquets.
For more information about the Farming Incubator Program, visit fortlewis.edu/oldfort. Next, 2 middle school girls volunteer at the Humane Society to convince potential dog owners that Pitbulls can make great pets. Then stay tuned for an interview with San Juan Bosie's spokeswoman, Kathy Morris, and Hal Dowdy from the Durango Fire Protection District about an emergency exercise at Sunnyside Elementary School earlier this month.
So in the 20th century, the pit bulls were used as guardian dogs to guard homes, to guard babies, and they were the #1 family dog. And then I guess
gang members started using them.
Yeah, in England, they started using them for dog fighting, and it slowly moved over to America.
We started our rescue in November because we noticed there was a lot of pit bulls here, and the pit bulls that were here have been here for a long time. There was a lot of dogs that have just been going out really fast, and pit bulls are just one of those dogs that tend to stay in the shelters a long time because there's so many of them. A lot of the stuff we do is we're just trying to get them trained and ready to go to a new home so they can enjoy their lives and they don't have to be stuck in a kennel for a long part of it. Well, our organization is Pitbulls for People. Our goal is to try to get shelter pit bulls adopted faster by working on training and leash work. We work with pit bulls on basic commands: sit down, stay, come, and we're working on leave it, and educating the public that pit bulls aren't these vicious beasts that they assume they are. If you treat them nice, then they're going to be nice. Lots of praise, lots of treats. Molly, come here.
Positive reinforcement.
Yep.
And on our website, we do write-ups on all of them, age, personality, stuff like that.
Perfect home.
Yeah.
Pit bulls are great dogs. They're great with kids. They're America's dog.
And this is Molly. She could sure use a home.
The only thing you have to watch out for them is their tails and their tongues.
And it's hard not to want to adopt any dog that is that affectionate. Today in the studio we have Kathy Morris. She's the school safety coordinator with San Juan Bosie's and Deputy Chief of Operations Hal Doty with the Durango Fire Protection District. Thank you guys for being here.
You bet.
So I know you recently were a part of a training exercise at Sunnyside Elementary, and it was a big deal for you guys. Tell us what the main mission of this training was.
Go ahead. So we've been working for quite some time in trying to prepare all of our local response agencies and school staff for the unfortunate event that may occur where we would have someone enter a school with the intent of hurting our kids. And so as much of a nightmare as that would be, we take that very seriously, and so we've been building for quite some time toward running a full-scale drill to bring to fruition all the training that our people have been through. And at the end of a 7-month effort, we put that together a couple weeks ago and pulled off our first full-scale exercise.
And I think it's worthy to note that this was also one of the first full-scale exercises of this kind in the state, correct?
Correct. You know, it's school districts have a very important role, not only in the response to an emergency, but the recovery process. So this exercise really allowed us an opportunity to recognize what our roles were.
So walk me through the day a little bit. How did it start, and what were kind of the wheels that were set in motion after this incident kicked off?
Sure. So the actual event started at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it was brought to bear by a scripted 911 call that basically said that there has been someone that's entered the school and has shot some people at the Sunnyside School. And so that generated then a law enforcement response and a fire and rescue response. It set in motion the preparedness elements that we've been working on for the school system, for BOCES, and we played it from there as though it was a real event. And so
yeah, we staged 2 classrooms with our personnel from the school, so it was building administrators and lead custodians that actually sat in the classroom and went into a lockdown. Wow. Yeah, and so they were not witness visually to what was going on in the hallways with our first responders, but they were in the classrooms in a lockdown. So we thought that would be beneficial for them to experience that from the child's perspective.
Yeah, and I'm sure even though this was just a drill, I mean, when you're in this situation, emotions are starting to run high, and I'm sure that's really the test for you guys as well, right?
Yes.
Sure. I heard many of the responders say how surreal it is, you know, even knowing that they're participating in a drill, walking down the hallway, recognizing the magnitude of what it is that they're practicing for. Right. And it affects them. Some of the people actually got emotional on the scene, and certainly at the Parent Reunification Center we had some emotions coming out.
Well, and especially in Colorado, I mean, sadly, we have a history of school shootings, and so I think this particularly hits home to parents. And do you find that people say, oh, we live in a small town, you know, you adopt that mentality? I'm sure this exercise really brought to light that it could happen anywhere.
That's so true. You know, since Sandy Hook, there's been 74 school shootings. Oh my gosh. And so for us to do nothing and just sit by and continue to say it'll never happen here is just not, we can't be responsible for that. We have to take action and really build resilience. So it's better to be emergency prepared and not emergency scared. Yes. So going through a drill like this really helps to build the resilience, so we can at least know what our roles are and be prepared to work with our first responders in a manner in which it helps our children, our staff, and our community.
Nice. And I'm sure through this exercise you were able to pinpoint strengths and weaknesses, so moving forward you know exactly what to work on.
Well, right. I hope so. I don't know about exactly, but I think the list is very long. I think that the big win here for all of us was that we got the opportunity to exercise all of our roles, and we established some great new partnerships with people that we may not have been able to work with before, and really started to establish how we will work together and what those roles will be. And so I think that's the main benefit that came out of it. And as we said in the debriefing, it's clear to us that we all were looking forward to the drill because we thought that marked the end of our preparedness. And I think we all realize now that it really is just the beginning of what's going to come in the future. Right.
And talking about the future, is there a plan to do more of these on an annual basis? I'm sure you've got a timetable for when your next exercise may be.
You know, the next in the area is that we're participating with Fort Lewis College to do a tabletop and a controlled smaller drill for their system, and then there's talk about potentially annually revisiting this. I think that it's one of those things that unless you consistently work at it and keep on exercising the elements, I don't know that you can ever be prepared enough, but I think in an effort to try to be as ready as we could possibly be, which preparedness translates into potentially lives saved. Right. So it's a worthwhile thing. I think we have to continue working on it.
Awesome. Well, great job. Thank you guys so much for doing that and for joining us here today. Up next, we have sports.
This portion of local news has been brought to you by Alpine Bank. Locally owned, locally operated. Alpine Bank.
At Durango Motor Company, our sales consultants are not paid on commission.
That's right. They're paid based on how satisfied you are with your purchase and not on how much you spent.
They're here to help you make a smart choice to find the right vehicle that you'll love.
A relaxed shopping experience where our sales consultant's top priority is your satisfaction. It's part of our promise to you, our guests.
Durango Motor Company, a new company, a new philosophy.
The Durango Holiday Inn would like to invite you to the Sporting News Grill for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Featuring a full-service restaurant and bar with 11 HD TVs, it's a great venue for family and sports fanatics alike. The Sporting News Grill. Stop in and let us show you our game face.
This week's sports news from Durango and further afield is brought to you by Mercy Regional Medical Center. Inspiring health.
I'm Jordan Alexander, here with your sports news. After the introduction of head coach John L. Smith, the Fort Lewis football program continues its rejuvenation with the addition of 3 new coaches. Jeff Cheek, Dwayne Crawford and Jared Burton come to the Skyhawks to aid the impressive turnaround the FLC began last year. Jeff Cheek joins the Skyhawks as the assistant coach after his role as the offensive coordinator at the University of Minnesota Crookston. His coaching accolades boast spells at Fresno State, Boise State University, Golden West College, Foothill College, Humboldt State, Eastern Oregon University, and Nampa Senior High School. As a player, Cheek learned his trade as a left guard for Boise State. The second new addition to the Hawks' nest is Dwayne Crawford. Crawford joins Fort Lewis football after he spent the 2013 season as a defensive graduate assistant and safety coach at the University of Wyoming. Prior to that role, he was part of the strength and conditioning team at Tulsa University. Crawford played safety at Baylor University. In his time there, he earned a Big 12 Honorable Mention selection and Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week honors. Crawford graduated from Baylor in 2009 with Bachelor of Arts degree in Communications. The final new face in the Skyhawk football locker room is Jared Burton. Burton will fulfill the role of wide receivers coach and oversee travel operations and video coordination. He's going to be a very busy man. Burton spent the 2012 season as the offensive coordinator at quarterbacks coach at Denver East High School. Prior to that, he was an assistant coach at the University of Northern Colorado from 2009 to 2011. Let's hope these new additions will continue Fort Lewis's improvement. And in other FLC football news, the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, or RMAC, selected the Skyhawks 6th in their preseason prediction poll. Also, junior defensive lineman Ryan Ross was chosen to the preseason All-RMAC defensive team. There are only 2 weeks left in the Durango Coors Light BCAPL 8-ball pool league, and Team Hawaii have finally moved into first place. After spending weeks in second place, they took advantage of Fair and Foul's week off to go 7 points clear at the top of the league. Team Hawaii cruised into the lead with a strong performance over the Beatles team. Beatles could only manage 6 wins out of the 32 games played. Jordan Mertens led Beatles with 3 wins, but that was nothing compared to Team Hawaii's Bruce Leclerc and Curtis Ellifrit's 7 wins each, followed by 6 wins apiece from Nate Monroe and Nick Wharton. Round 1 saw Team Hawaii get off to a fast-paced start as they won 7-1. They won round 2, 6-2, and repeated that pattern in the final 2 rounds. Now all Team Hawaii need is 2 final match wins against 5th-placed Incognito this week and last-placed Roadrunners the week after. The challenger, 2nd-place Fair and Foul, still needs to overcome Team Hawaii's victims, the Beatles, and 6th-place Perfect Poor Poolers. It's a 2-horse race to see who can gain the most points in the next 2 weeks. Very exciting stuff. As the league stands now, I Dream of Greenies sit in 3rd place, with Perfect Poor Poolers in 4th. Hawaii's next challenge, Incognito, lie in 5th, followed by Change Gamers at number 6. The bottom 3 are the Beatles on 191 points, Zuppies on the same score but with more losses, and Roadrunners in last place, 3 points behind the pack. The penultimate week of action is as follows: I Dream of Greenies versus Roadrunners, the Beatles versus Fair and Foul, Team Hawaii against Incognito, and Zuppies versus Change Gamers. The Durango Coors Light BCAPL 8-ball pool league is held every Tuesday night at Ponga's Pool Hall. Now let's look further afield at the world of professional sports. Rory McIlroy has returned to the top of the world golf rankings after he won the WGC Bridgestone Invitational in Ohio this past weekend. The Northern Irish golfer fought off stiff competition from Sergio Garcia and Mark Leishman to take the title. Heading into the final day, McIlroy trailed behind Sergio Garcia by 3 shots but closed the gap within 4 holes. He closed his final round with a 4-under 66 versus Garcia's 71. McIlroy has been chasing the top ranking held by Australian Adam Scott after losing it in 2013. Tiger Woods suffered with a back injury and had to withdraw, which now puts him in doubt for the US PGA and the Ryder Cup. He pulled out after 8 holes and the injury seems to be a reoccurrence from his previous injury that required back surgery. And that's all for this week's sports news. But before we leave, we strapped on our hiking boots and wandered the hills with backcountry experience for this week's sports tutorial. After that, the business news.
Good morning, Durango. I'm David Farkas, and this is my coworker, Thad Farrell. And today we're going to be telling you, helping you learn some things about essential backpacking equipment for what you need to hit some of the great trails in the Durango area for a fun and safe 3-day trip. Today, I'm going to show you how to pack everything into this awesome lightweight pack from Hyperlight Mountain Gear. This happens to be Thad's pack that we also sell here at the store, and we're going to fit everything you need for a comfortable trip into this sub 3-pound 70-liter pack. So the first thing to remember in packing your pack is to think that you want to pack it more like a bag of sugar instead of a bag of potatoes. Because packing your pack that way is going to make your pack more comfortable to carry because it's going to more equally distribute the weight. So first, I got Thad's sleeping bag here. It's pretty light. I'm going to put that in the bottom of the pack. Now it kind of looked like a potato, so to pack it more like sugar, I'm going to take this soft 2-man tent without any poles in it. Poles come later. And I'm going to put this in the bottom of the pack right next to the sleeping bag. So what I'm going to do there is take some smaller things that I'm not going to need right away and put them in between those 2 lumps. Here I got accessory kit with repair items and some things I might not need right away, so it's okay to put that in the bottom. Have my dehydrated food pack for evening, so I won't need that right away. Now I can put some more bigger soft things in, such as my extra clothes, first aid kit a little closer to the top where I can get to it. And before I get too far up the pack, I definitely want to put in my water bladder. Next, I have my lightweight inflatable sleeping pad. Keep that a little closer to the top because it's light and there's no sharp objects for it to get popped on. And this is my mess kit, but that's going to go near the top too because it's got some firmer things in it. It's a little harder to fold up, so I'm going to put it in the top where it doesn't get crushed. And I got a lightweight stove as well. Putting the stove a little closer to the top because I might want to get that out first to boil some water, get into camp tonight. And to finish things off, we have our water filtration kit, lunch food as well as snacks, headlamp, which I'm actually going to put outside the pack, so I'll save that for later. And my small titanium pot to boil some water since all I'm taking is dehydrated food on this trip. So that's all I'm going to put inside the pack. Next, I'm going to close the pack up and we'll be ready to hit the trail. All right, we'll see you guys soon.
The weekly sports news has been brought to you by Mercy Regional Medical Center, inspiring health.
Probably about 8 years ago, when Jason first got into home brewing, we started talking about opening up a brewery and what it would mean and different locations, and we just put it on the back burner so we could do our other careers. And then probably 2 years ago, we really decided to open up the brewery, and we knew that Pagosa was the spot.
When we were putting together the business plan for Riff Raff Brewing Company, we were looking at the need for a lot of capital to fund all the systems and equipment that we needed to make craft beer. And we knew that it would be challenging to find a partner. From an experience of going through a really difficult process of getting capital together, banking is a difficult place to get money for a business like this. We felt like the entire way First Southwest Bank really not only held our hand and shepherded us through the process, but they also embraced our business and tried to understand the model. And we are not quite a restaurant, but we're not quite a packaging brewery. And First Southwest did a really good job of trying to learn how to bridge that gap and present the data to the SBA so that we could go forward, secure the loan, and do it as quickly as possible with as few roadblocks. Would we recommend First Southwest Bank for aspiring entrepreneurs? Yeah, darn tootin'.
Next, the business update, brought to you by the First Southwest Bank and the Plata County Economic Alliance.
I'm Moni Grushkin. You don't have to be a multi-million-dollar corporation to land a government contract. In fact, many government agencies are required to award bids to small businesses, and if you're savvy about your marketing strategies, you could land a contract too. That's the word from the Colorado Procurement Technical Assistance Center, a government-funded agency that helps small businesses do business with government. Catherine Lobdell, a procurement officer and counselor with the Colorado PTAC, was in Durango last month to conduct a workshop on landing government contracts, and she said it's not that difficult if you know where to look.
Government buys everything. And so you don't want them to limit themselves for the opportunity. And it can be at the city, the county, school district, state, federal, Department of Defense, any level of government. We are here to try and assist them to become a government vendor.
Start with a good marketing program, she says. Develop a statement that explains clearly what you can do, how long you've been doing it, for whom, and how well you performed. A good brochure and customer testimonials provide a great start. Then find out what contracts are out there. The Durango Public Library can help with that business research. So can PTAC. Lobdell says to check with city and county procurement offices. Most local government agencies have a purchasing agent. Get to know them, she says. Research award histories. Who won the contract the last time it was put out for bid? Then demonstrate that you can do it better, faster, and cheaper.
And the government really is not much different from working with the commercial world. It's just that there might be a few more regulations that you have to learn and understand, and PTAC is here to help them through the entire government contracting process.
Finally, Lobdell says don't hesitate to contract procurement officers from bigger corporations, especially those that do business with the government. Contractors like Boeing and Lockheed are required to subcontract a certain amount of their government's contracts with small businesses, she said. State PTAC offices are funded, in part, through a cooperative agreement with the Department of Defense. Their goal is to increase employment and improve local economies by helping small businesses obtain and fulfill local, state, and federal government contracts. To meet with a PTAC counselor, visit coloradoptac.org or call the Small Business Development Center at Fort Lewis College, 247-7009. Amita Nathwani, a Durango practitioner of Ayurvedic medicine, recently opened Surya, a retail store on Main. Alternative health practitioners offer a variety of treatments, and the stores offer products that promote a healthy body, mind, and spirit. However, as with all new entrepreneurs, she experienced unexpected expenses that have left her unable to fully stock her shelves. Most new retailers would be in a panic. Instead, Nathwani's neighbors came to the rescue. Her neighbors not only offer moral support, they provide advice, encouragement, and products to sell in her store. Animus Trading Company provides yoga and exercise clothing. Dancing Willow Herbs stocks tinctures and herbal products, and Soleil sells its superfood supplements at Surya. Nathwani says she's grateful to those providing assistance.
On this block in general, all the businesses have been very supportive. We offer what we can, and everybody's been just so generous, and not only offering help, but as a new business, also offering support during the ups and the downs, and helping us to understand what the economy in Durango is, what to expect, and how we can move forward to continue to provide all these services and products for the community.
Retailers on the 10th block of Main Avenue have dubbed themselves the Locals Block because they are the north end of the Central Business District where tourists don't often wander. In dog-eat-dog world of retail business, Surya's neighbors say that Durango proves to be the exception. Amber Tracy, manager of Animus Trading, explains why.
It's so much easier to build each other up as businesses than it is to be competitive and get caught in all that, which you can find in other towns. Whereas in Durango, we're just kind of all really supportive of each other.
Surya is located at 1032 Main Avenue. For more information on the products Surya has to offer, visit suryawellbeing.com. It started in 1973 as a simple buying club with members trucking fresh fruits and vegetables from New Mexico to share with their neighbors. 40 years later, more than 2,000 families and individuals share ownership in the Durango Natural Foods Cooperative on the southwest corner of 8th Avenue and College Drive. Co-ops are owned by the people who work at or purchase goods for services or services for them. Membership in Durango Natural Foods costs $100, but you can pay it over 5 years or volunteer your time if you can't afford the fee. The cooperative specializes in fresh, local produce, humanely raised meats, and everything organic. As a member, you can request that the cooperative stock any food that you want, that is, if it's organic and meets other qualifications. Walk down the aisles and you'll find all sorts of gourmet and specialty foods not found anywhere else in the area. Members receive special discounts at checkout and other perks. At its heart, the cooperative is more than food, says its members. It's about building community through a shared interest in healthy food.
We foster community here, and we provide an opportunity to source your groceries and body care and different things like that in an ethical way. I think that there's no place else like that in Durango where you can trust every item you buy.
You don't have to be a member to shop at Durango Natural Foods, but to take advantage of the discounts or other perks, you do. Visit DurangoNaturalFoods.coop for more information.
The business update has been brought to you by First Southwest Bank and the La Plata County Economic Alliance.
Welcome to the Irish Embassy Pub Durango. We import the majority of our products straight from Armagh, and let's get it right. You want your Guinness directly imported from Dublin. You want it stored at precisely the right temperature. And you want the pour to be a matter of taste and science. You want a pull with the patience and precision that it deserves. And if that wasn't authentic enough, you want to enjoy it in a pub where the shelves are stocked with 24 different kinds of Irish whiskey. Yes, you want the true Irish experience. Come visit us at the Irish Embassy Pub Durango.
It's full steam ahead at the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad. Enjoy a historic trip through southwest Colorado's rich scenery with daily train excursions through the spectacular San Juan Mountains. See the world-famous 400-foot drop at the High Line. Relax as you chug along the Upper Animas River and spend an afternoon in the historic mining town of Silverton. Stop by the depot or call 247-2733. Get more information on our website at durangotrain.com.
Southwest Colorado Lifestyles with Ashley Dickson is sponsored by The Pet House and The Wells Group.
Welcome to Southwest Colorado Lifestyles, a special feature of Inside Durango News. I'm Ashley Dickson. Each week we'll bring you stories on what we love about living in Southwest Colorado, including health tips, nutrition, outdoor activities, the environment, and more. Let us know what you want to see, and we'll go out and get the story. First, your child's health. The first day of school in the Plata County is just around the corner. And while local school districts require students to be vaccinated against diseases like measles, mumps, and chickenpox, many parents opt out. Depending on the school, from 7 to 16% of kids in Durango School District 9R go unvaccinated. That's because Colorado law allows parents to opt out of vaccinating their kids. Some parents cite religious reasons, other fears that vaccines do more harm than good. But Dr. Art Zimak, a local pediatrician with Southwest Pediatric Associates, said those fears are unfounded. No research to date has proven conclusively that vaccines are dangerous, and he says the opposite is true.
We used to see a lot of horrible measles disease. Measles encephalitis used to kill small children. That doesn't happen much anymore. We don't see very much tetanus. Polio is gone from this country, though it's trying to make a comeback. It's a long list, but I think I can say with confidence that it has been 15 years since I've seen a vaccine cause a problem for any child that I'm aware of. And they have greatly reduced the number of bad illnesses that they were designed to reduce.
Zimak recommends that parents start vaccines for their babies after they reach 2 months of age. They cover chickenpox, diphtheria, hepatitis, measles, mumps, pertussis, rubella, and hepatitis, among other deadly diseases. Zimak says he's concerned that the trend to avoid vaccinations won't stop until a serious outbreak occurs. Then it will be too late for some children.
I think there is this very interesting culture these days for deciding that for whatever reason you might want to not do vaccines because you've heard something odd in the press or whatnot. And you know, again, 15 years since I've seen them do anything bad, they certainly have helped a lot. It's such a trend, though, that my fear, my worry, is that this trend to decline vaccines isn't going to reverse until some of the diseases start to come back in real numbers. You know, I mean, are we going to have to wait until a lot of kids get polio to get the polio rates back up? Are we going to have to wait until a lot of kids die from whooping cough until we get our whooping cough rates back up? Are we going to have to wait until children younger than 1 start dying again from measles until we get our measles rates back up? I hope not, but I do worry about that.
A number of programs are available to families to help pay for immunizations. Contact the San Juan Basin Health Department at sjbhd.org or the Access Health Center website at accesshealthsystems.org for eligibility requirements. Next up, a visit with our furry friends.
This Furry Friends segment is brought to you by the Plata County Humane Society. Help us, help them, one paw at a time.
And here we are with our Furry Friends feature this week. Chris Nelson from the La Plata County Humane Society has brought an adorable little kitten. This is Danny, and he is just very content to be hanging out in the studio today. I think he likes this.
He sure is, and he rode over here really well in the car, very quiet.
I gotta say,
had the AC on. It was a little hot out there, so.
A model pet today, but we're actually talking about the other side of what you guys do, and that's fostering dogs and cats. And I know that this guy actually was hanging out with a foster family earlier, right?
Yeah, he was. Danny came to us, I think, when he was about 5 weeks old, and we're legally not allowed to adopt cats out until they're 8 weeks, and dogs. And so what that does at the shelter, most of the cats we get are under 8 weeks. So we have all these kittens come in at once and no place to put them. We have to just hold them until they're old enough to be adopted. And that's where the foster families come in. And what that does is we recruit families, individuals, whatever, to take these kittens, moms with babies, sometimes puppies, into their home, provide the love and the space. We provide the food, the toys, the cat litter, all that stuff. And when they're old enough to be adopted, you bring them back. It's just like being a grandpa or a grandma.
That was how I love that you explained it. It's like a grandparent. You spoil them and then you return them.
Yeah, when they become obnoxious, you bring them back.
Very nice. And so this is for dogs and cats that you have at the shelter?
We do it, yeah, we do it for all the dogs and cats, mostly puppies and kittens, because, like I said, we can't adopt them until they're 8 weeks old. Many times, you know, if they come in 2 or 3 days old, they have to be bottle fed. And it's a long road to get them to that 8 week mark, and once they're there, then they can be adopted, and go live with somebody permanently. But in the meantime, it's critical to our operations to have foster families.
So it's probably good for families that are thinking maybe about adopting and they want to give it a trial run first?
Yeah, or somebody who doesn't want to, that's a perfect example, but if somebody also doesn't want to make that long-term commitment, say maybe they're moving in 6 months or they're not sure where they're going to be living or something, and they just want a temporary cat fix or a dog fix, you sign up to be a foster family. Like I said, we provide everything but the love.
I was going to say, because this is my temporary cat fix right now, and I'm liking it. So Danny, does he have any brothers and sisters with him at the shelter right now?
He's got a roommate. I don't think it's his brother. I think all of his siblings have been adopted, so he's just by himself now.
Very nice.
Minus his roommate, but I can't remember his roommate's name at the moment.
Nice. Well, he is just a doll, and I'm sure when he's ready to go home with a family, you'll have no problem finding one.
Yeah, he's actually one of the only kittens left at the shelter. We're sort of in between. We have a bunch that need to go out to foster, so if you'd like to foster, give us a call at the shelter or check out our website, lpchumanesociety.org, and you can see all about being a foster. In a couple weeks, we'll have a big wave of them coming back from foster families, so we'll have a whole bunch more kittens to adopt.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and as always, bringing these furry friends is the highlight of our show. All right.
My pleasure.
More Durango news up next.
I'm Scotty Smith with this week's weather facts. August is the month when the average daily highs start to drop as we move toward fall. Highs are in the low 80s and lows start to drop to the 40s. August is also the wettest month of the year, with an average precipitation of 2.5 inches. October is second with 2.1 inches of precipitation, and March is the third at 1.71 inches of moisture. The August monsoons are great for wildflowers, and local photographer Kit Frost recommends a few of her favorite areas in her blog at PhotoKitFrost. Try Missionary Ridge Road to Henderson Lake. Another great drive-to area is South Mineral Creek Road, north of Silverton. The Clear Lake and Clear Creek trails are good bets, and so is the four-wheel drive road into the trailhead for the Silverton Rico Trail, just past the South Mineral Creek campground. The Plata County mountains offer some spectacular scenery. You'll find meadows choked with colorful flowers along the road to the Kennebec Pass. Cumberland Basin and Columbus Basin are both winners. Extended forecasts for this next few weeks indicate a dying trend with a few thunder showers that will affect some afternoons. Still, we recommend that you get up in the mountains for wildflowers earlier in the day before thunderheads develop to increase the likelihood of lightning strikes. Stay tuned for Inside Durango TV for your up-to-minute weather forecast. This portion of Inside Durango News has been brought to you by the Wells Group and the Pet House. Next, arts and entertainment.
Yeehaw! Ride 'em, cowboy, and cowgirls too. Catch all the bronc-busting, bull-riding, barrel racing action of Durango's True West Rodeo, part of the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad's annual True West Rail Fest. Watch the rodeo action on Inside Durango TV. Broadcast live from the Plata County Fairgrounds on Sunday, August 17th. Show starts at 7 p.m. on Durango Cable Channel 15 and everywhere on DurangoTV.com.
Brought to you by Fast Forward Media.
First National Bank of Durango, committed to our community since 1882, where our friendly bankers help you achieve your financial goals.
We put you first!
Stop by one of our 5 locations or visit us online at fnbdurango.com.
If you love Durango, grab this edition of Durango Magazine today. Explore Durango's vibrant art scene in a nearby city that disappeared. Discover what's happening on the Animas River and what Durango families do for fun with their kids. Dining guide and Durango's dream homes too. Captivating stories, award-winning design, and stunning local photography. Durango Magazine, serving people who love Durango since 1986. By mail, your hotel room, free racks all around town, and at Magpie's newsstand.
This portion of Arts and Entertainment with Ted Holteen is brought to you by the Strader Hotel.
We're standing here in the lobby of the Durango Arts Center, which on a normal day is a hive of activity, but this week it's even busier here. It's late this month, but this week brings the monthly First Thursday Art Walk, and the DAC is hosting something completely different. For those of you who don't know, on the first Thursday of each month, a host of downtown galleries and venues put on special events for the 2-hour mini gallery walk. But this month, the DAC is taking the tour on the road, as Aaron Schmidt will be taking guests on a walking tour of Durango's murals, public art sculptures, and even the out-of-the-box artwork that is the Dumpster Beautification Project. It's the first tour of its kind that we know of, so show up Thursday around 4:30 p.m. and join the tour. Visit DurangoArts.org for a full list and map of the first Thursday venues. That's not all that's happening at the DAC this week, however. On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, a small army of young actors will stage 2 Disney musicals to wrap up their summer theater camp at DAC. That's them on the stage getting in their final rehearsals. The youngsters will put on Disney's Peter Pan Jr. and Jungle Book Kids before handing the stage off to the grown-ups for 2 of the final 4 performances of the Tony Award-winning musical Pippin. The show closes August 16th. If theater is your thing, Pippin is one of 2 choices you've got to see it live downtown. The Durango Melodrama is putting on a local story this summer. The Dame of Durango was written and directed by Jenny Fitz-Reynolds and runs Tuesday through Sunday nights at the Strader Hotel through August 30th. Turning to the local live music scene this weekend, it's kind of the calm before the storm when Fort Lewis College students are back in class in a few weeks. But the local venues have plenty of local talent on tap to entertain the late summer tourists and regulars alike. On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, you can catch young pianist Adam Swanson as he finishes his summer run at the Diamond Bell Saloon, while across the hall, Rob Webster plays solo in the office. Also Thursday, Dustin Burley does the singer-songwriter thing at the Derailed Saloon, the Robin Davis Duo plays outdoors at the Balcony, and Terry Ricard entertains the dinner crowd at 6512. On Friday, the Derailed cranks it up a bit with rock and roll from Neil Nelson and the Saloonatics. Pete Neds is in the office Spiritorium, and Brian Keith Wallens over at 6512. And wrapping up a relatively light slate of weekend music on Saturday, Lacey Black will take her piano outside at Sirius Texas Barbecue. Durango's own singing cowboy Greg Ryder sings in the office, and the Balcony welcomes the sounds of the Grateful Dead channeled through our very own Red-Eyed Jim. And looking ahead to next week, there are a couple of shows you'll want to get your tickets for early, as they might just sell out over the weekend. On Tuesday, Brothers Keeper, with former Ween members Dean Ween and Glenn McClellan, will play the Anima City Theater. It promises to be a great show, so don't sleep on that one. Same goes for Asleep at the Wheel. The Kings of Western Swing will return to the Community Concert Hall at Fort Lewis College on Wednesday night. Well, that's it on the entertainment beat for this weekend. Be sure to get out and take advantage of everything this town has to offer. It might just surprise you, but we'll do our best to make sure you know what's coming. For IDTV, I'm Ted Holteen.
Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of Inside Durango News. Let us know what you think of our new hour-long program and send us your story ideas at durangotv.com. For more about what's going on in Durango, log on to what'shappeningdurango.com. Post your free event today and join the one-stop, easy-to-use events calendar for Durango. I'm Ashley Dickson. Thanks for watching Inside Durango News, and remember, keep watching. You'll like what you see.
Tune in weekly to watch Inside Durango News, your source for what's going on in Southwest Colorado. Powered by Fast Signs. More than fast, more than signs. You can watch Inside Durango News anytime at durangotv.com.